Good morning, everyone. How is everyone today? I hope all of you are doing fine. Today, we will be starting block 5, okay, and I will be teaching you how to write a personal narrative. Okay, so by the end of today's class, you will be able to write, okay, a personal narrative about your hobby. Now, what is a personal narrative? So over here, we know that the meaning narrative is any writing. It could be a paragraph, it could be story writing. Okay, so narrative is just any writing, and personal refers to you. Okay, so you will be writing about yourself. So let's get started. Okay, and I think you know what's a hobby. A hobby is something we do in our free time, right? So maybe some of you play football. Okay, some of you may like cooking, reading books, just like me. Okay, or maybe painting. Okay, so we will be discussing about different kinds of hobbies. Okay, we will talking about hobbies, and it will be related to gunguroos, dancing, and fun. So let's get started. Now, if you remember, okay, when I taught you gunguroos, dancing, and fun, I asked you some WH questions. Okay, WH questions start with WH, and they are what, when, who, okay, who, and why. Okay, so we are going to answer these questions related to the chapter gunguroos, dancing, and fun. So now, what does she like to do? What does the girl like to do in gunguroos, dancing, and fun? We already know that she likes to dance. You have already learned this. Okay, when does she do it? You already know she does it every day. Okay, she practices it every day at dance class. Okay, you can also include that she even practices it at home. Then who does it with her? So we know that, okay, she does it with her friends at school and her teacher. Who taught her to do it? We know that, okay, she learns from Anita Akka. So over here we will write Anita Akka taught her to do it. Why does she like it? Again, we know that she likes it because she loves to hear the sound of gunguroos tapping on the floor, and she also wants to perform on stage like Shankar Bhaiya and Rashmi Didi. So if you remember last week, I have already taught you this. Okay, so whenever we write a hobby, you need to ask these WH questions, okay, to yourself. Over here, we are first doing it about the narrator, okay, in gunguroos, dancing, and fun, just to make you know a little more. But when you're writing about yourself, you will ask the same questions to yourself. Okay, now I am going to ask these questions to myself, okay, and in the same way you have to do it for yourself. So this is just an example of what I like. Okay, so for example, the first one, what do you like to do? Now I've already told you even in the last class that I like reading books. Okay, I like reading books. Now do you also like reading books? May not, okay, maybe, or some of you may like playing football, some of you may like playing singing, okay, some of you may like singing, okay, some of you may like to do painting, so some may like gardening. So whatever your hobby is, you will write, okay, I like whatever. I like painting, okay, I like singing, I like dancing. It is up to you. Okay, now when do you do it? Now we are all very busy, okay, me as a teacher and you as a student, so I'm sure we do not get a lot of time, okay, to do our hobbies. So we usually do it in our free time, okay, like I read books in my free time, and I'm sure you also do the same. Okay, then who does it with you? So since I'm reading, I read it alone, but maybe you read with your family. It could be that you paint with your brothers or sisters. It could be maybe your teacher, you paint with your teacher, or you sing with your teacher. So whoever does it with you, you need to write that. Okay, so you can say I read it alone, or you can say I paint with my teacher, or maybe I paint with my brothers, I sing with my brothers. It's up to you. Who taught you to do it? So over here I wrote my mother taught me to do it, because usually, okay, when I was very young, my mother was the one who introduced me to a lot of books, okay, which she had read. She told me it's really good, why don't you try it out? And I started reading. I liked the books and it has continued, okay. Even today I buy and we share. We always read, okay, both of us. So for me it's my mother, but from you it could be your, maybe your dad, or could be your teacher. So whoever taught you to do it, okay, it could be your singing teacher, okay. So you just need to write that. Then why do you like to do it? Now I like reading because it relaxes me after a tiring day in school, okay, or even after like coming home, doing the cooking, okay, teaching. Sometimes at night I love to just read a few pages and then I prefer to go to sleep, okay. And usually if I'm free, then I would even finish a whole book. So it relaxes me, it makes me feel very happy, very relaxed, okay. So I read because of that. For you it could be because maybe you love painting, or you want to be a painter in the future, or you like singing. So whatever the reason is, you can write the reason over here, okay. So first I want you to answer these questions, okay, about yourself. These questions are very similar to the one you would find on S1, okay. And today we will be going a little bit further, and we will also be doing S3 because it's connected to each other, okay. Now let's look at the next slide, okay. Now using the WH chart to write a 3-paragraph personal narrative about a person's hobby, okay. So I'm giving you an example about a girl named Holly, but you will be writing about yourself in S3, okay. So we will use those WH questions which we answered in S1 like a guide, okay. It will be our blueprint, okay, and that will help us to write a 3-paragraph essay about our hobby. But today I'm teaching you how to write about, I'm taking a girl by the name of Holly, okay, but you will be writing I am and your name, okay. You're not going to write Holly. Clear? So for example, this is the first paragraph. In the first paragraph, okay, Holly introduces her name. She tells us to which school she is going to, and she gives us her address, okay. So you will write, for example, I am, and then you write your name, okay. Then you write I go to Hope Academy, okay. My parents and me stay in whichever colony, okay. Viman Nagar is the colony, so you will also write the colony's name and in Dimapur, okay. So this will be your first paragraph. You will also write the same thing in your content book, so your first paragraph. Now after your first paragraph, I want you to leave one line, and then we will start the second paragraph, okay. The second paragraph is our body. Remember, first paragraph is just like our head. Our head is very small, okay. So the first paragraph also is very small, and the second paragraph is like our body, okay, from our neck, you could say, to our thighs, okay. So you could see how big it is, right? So in the same way, the second paragraph has to be much more bigger, okay. And then the third paragraph is just our feet, okay, from our knees to our toes. So you'll find that the third paragraph is also very small. So remember, okay, first paragraph you need to introduce Holly, okay. So you introduce yourself, introduce the school where you go, okay, your colony in which you live, and also the place in which you live, okay. So this was your first paragraph. Now I'm going to take you to your second paragraph. Don't forget to leave a line, okay, in between every paragraph, okay. So now Holly says, I enjoy making paper jewelry at home and in school, okay. Now you may like something else. If I'm writing about me, I will write I enjoy reading at home, okay. You may say I enjoy singing at home and in school, or you could also say I enjoy painting at home and in school, okay. So it's up to you. Whatever you are writing in your blueprint, that is S1, you have to write the same thing over here, okay. Then I learned how to make paper jewelry from Miss Arti, my art teacher in school. Now I said that I learned it from my mother. So over here you can also write the person who you learned it from, okay. So you will say I learned how to make or I learned how to paint, okay, from Miss whoever or Sir, okay, and my singing teacher, okay. So the some words, okay. Then you give a brief idea. She says to make the jewelry, she collects colorful magazines and uses the shiny paper to roll into beads. You can say, to make different paintings, I use colorful paints. Okay, I draw on chart paper and then I paint it. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to write. You can just add a few lines over here about your hobby. Okay, something about your hobby. So she's giving you, then she makes a hole in the middle and strings them on a piece of thread. Okay, so she's giving you a description of her hobby. You can also write something about your hobby over here. Okay, how you go about with your hobby. If you're singing, you can write about how you sing. Okay, how your teacher teaches you. Okay, if you like painting, you can write about that. If you're writing about football, you can write how many players are there. Okay, where do you play, all those little things. Okay, and then I usually make them with mom at home. You can say I usually sing at home or at church. Okay, it's up to you. So remember, the second paragraph has a lot of descriptive ideas, and it has to be a little longer. Okay, it should make sense. So this is your second paragraph. Now let's go to your third paragraph. Okay, again your third paragraph is very small. It talks about the feeling. Okay, when you do something, how do you feel? Do you feel happy or sad? Okay, so over here she says, I love the feeling of making and wearing my own jewelry. Okay, so now when we do something which we like, we feel happy, right? So you can write, I love singing and dancing. Okay, or I love reading, it relaxes me. So you have to write over here what your hobby does for you. Over here she says, most importantly, my hobby helps me to use the paper which would have otherwise been thrown away. You can say, you can, if a person is playing football, okay, if there are any boys who's writing about football, you can say, my hobby makes me strong, it makes me healthy. Okay, it keeps me in shape. Or if you're writing about singing, you can say like, my hobby helps me to keep my voice very sweet. Okay, it I sing in church. Okay, and this it's good for the community, right? It helps me to become a singer in the future. So what does your hobby help you to do? Okay, like for example, I can write, most importantly, okay, my hobby of reading books, okay, helps me to learn new words, right? It tells me about different places. Okay, it takes me to exciting places. So how does your hobby help you? You give a small few lines over here. Remember, your essay should have 3 paragraphs. Okay, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. 3 paragraphs. Don't forget to leave one line, okay, in between each paragraph. Okay, now my next slide is just for fun. If you like to do it, you can do it. Okay, it's not compulsory. Okay, making simple paper jewelry. Now you may be a little confused. I talked about paper jewelry in the previous slides. What is paper jewelry? Okay, so this is just a fun activity. If you like to do it, you can do it. Even if you don't like, it's all right. I'm sure the girls would like to do it. So for making paper jewelry, what you have to do is, you need to take strips of paper. Okay, take colorful strips of paper. You can use old magazine, okay, or old color paper. If you have computer color paper, you can use that also. Just cut long strips. Okay, and then you can roll it on a piece of stick, or if you do not have this stick, you just roll it on your pencil. Okay, and then you stick it over here. You can see, put gum and stick it, and then you take it out and you get these kind of little shapes. Okay, when you get these kind of shapes, let them dry nicely. Okay, these are called beads. Let them dry, and then you just need to treadle it on a long string. Okay, and you will get this kind of paper jewelry. Okay, last year some of my kids did it and it was really cute. So what you can do is, you can also try out this activity. Okay, I just wanted you to know what is paper jewelry. So if you try it out, you can send me some pictures. I would love to see you. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any doubt, you can always message me or ping me. Okay, so bye bye.